The arena floor was black glass. It reflected the lights above like a still lake. Every seat in the towering chamber was filled. Creatures from 100 systems watched in silence. Some had feathers. Some had scales. Some were made of soft light that shimmered in place. At the center stood a single human. Elias Ward rolled his shoulders once. He looked small beneath the vast ceiling. He wore boots, worn jeans, and a brown jacket. There were no weapons on him, no armor, just calm eyes and steady breath. Across from him, the gate opened. She stepped through with a hiss that cut through the air. Her body was long and coiled with layered silver scales. 4 arms flexed at her sides. Each hand ended in curved claws the length of knives. A crown of bone rose from her skull like a jagged halo. Her eyes were gold and slit with black. The crowd murmured her name, Valith, the Unbroken, champion of the Outer Rings. She had crushed war beasts. She had shattered armored suits with her bare hands. She had ended fights in heartbeats. Her tongue flicked as she tasted the air. "You'll perish in seconds." "Human," she hissed. Her voice echoed without effort. "Your bones will snap before you strike once." Elias slipped off his jacket. He folded it once and placed it gently at the edge of the arena. Then he stepped forward. The bell chimed. Valith moved first. She blurred across the glass. The floor cracked under the force of her launch. One clawed hand swung toward his head. The air screamed. Elias did not block. He dipped low. The claw passed above him and shaved a lock of hair from his temple. He felt the wind of it. He drove his shoulder into her midsection. The impact thundered. The crowd gasped. Valith slid back 3 steps. Her scales scraped the glass and sparked. She stared at him with new focus. "You are quick," she said. He did not answer. She lunged again. 2 hands slashed high. 2 swept low. It was a storm of steel and scale. Elias moved through it. He stepped inside her reach. He caught one wrist. His fingers dug between plates where the scales overlapped. He twisted. There was a sharp crack. Valith roared. Her lower arm hung at an odd angle. The roar shook the seats. The glass floor spidered under her tail as it whipped around. It struck Elias across the chest and sent him skidding. He rolled once and came up on one knee. Blood darkened his shirt. He spat to the side and stood. The roar became laughter. "You break," Valith said. "You bleed." Elias wiped his mouth. "So do you." He rushed her before the echo faded. She met him with fury. Her tail smashed down. He leaped over it. Her claws closed in. He trapped one arm under his own and drove his elbow into the joint of another. He struck not with wild swings, but with precise force. Every blow landed between scales. Every strike targeted bone and tendon. The arena floor shattered in webs. Beneath their feet, Valith caught him at last, 2 upper arms locked around his torso. The remaining hand closed around his throat. She lifted him from the ground. "You are strong for prey," she said softly, "but strength is not enough." Her grip tightened. The crowd leaned forward. Elias did not claw at her hand. He did not gasp. He drew his legs up. He planted both boots against her chest, where her scales were thinnest. Then he pushed. All the force in his body drove through his hips and spine. There was a dull crunch. Valith stumbled back. Her grip loosened for a breath. That breath was enough. Elias dropped. As he fell, he twisted and slammed his heel into the side of her knee. The joint bent the wrong way. Valith crashed to one side. The arena shook. Elias hit the ground and rolled clear. He rose slower now. His chest rose hard. His arms trembled from strain. Valith tried to stand. Her broken arm dangled. Her knee buckled. She snarled and forced herself upright on 3 limbs. "You fight like an animal," she said. Elias shook his head. "No, I fight like a human." She charged again. Rage had replaced precision. Her claws tore chunks from the floor. She aimed to crush. Elias met her head on. He slid under her swing and wrapped both arms around her waist. He lifted for a moment. Nothing happened. Then with a shout he heaved. Valith left the ground. The crowd erupted. He turned with her weight. He drove her down into the fractured glass. The floor burst outward in a ring of shards. Silence fell. Dust drifted through the light. Valith lay in the crater. Her chest rose in ragged pools. One horn was snapped. Blood seeped from beneath shattered scales. Elias staggered back 2 steps. His vision swam. He could taste iron in his mouth. Every breath burned. Valith's eyes opened. She laughed weakly. "You are dying," she whispered. "Maybe," he said. She tried to rise again. He walked to her. Slow, steady. She lifted one remaining arm to strike. He caught it. Not with speed now, but with stubborn force. He pressed it down against the glass. "You said seconds," he said. He leaned close enough that she could see the calm in his eyes. "It's been minutes." She stared at him. There was no fear in him. No hatred. Only will. Her arm slackened. The bell chimed again. Medics rushed from the gates. The arena lights dimmed to a softer glow. The crowd did not cheer at first. They simply watched the human standing in the broken center of the floor. Then the sound began. It started with a low rumble from the upper tiers. It spread section by section. Wings beat. Claws struck railings. Voices from 100 species rose in one sound. Respect. Elias swayed where he stood. A medic tried to guide him. He waved them off long enough to walk to the edge of the arena. He picked up his jacket. Valith was carried past him on a levitating stretcher. Her golden eyes found his. "You were supposed to fear me," she said. "I did," he replied. She frowned slightly. "Then why step forward?" He considered the question. "Because fear is not the end," he said. "It is the start." She studied him for a long moment. Then she gave a slow nod. "Human," she said quietly. "Today you are unbroken." He inclined his head once. The next day, the recordings spread across the systems. Analysts slowed the footage frame by frame. They measured force output. They calculated reaction time. They mapped the strikes that found the narrow gaps in alien armor. They argued over how long a human body should have lasted under that pressure. They ran the numbers again and again. The results did not change. Humans were not the strongest species in raw mass, not the fastest in open sprint, not the toughest in pure armor, but they were something else. They studied weakness. They adapted in motion. They endured beyond prediction. In taverns on distant moons, the story was told how Valith, the unbroken, promised death in seconds, how the human removed his jacket like a man about to fix a machine, how he stepped forward into a storm of claws, how he broke what was meant to break. Him, on Earth, the story was simpler. A Man entered a ring. A man came out standing. Elias healed slowly. Fractured ribs, torn muscle, deep bruising along his throat. Doctors told him he had come within a narrow margin of collapse. He listened. He thanked them. When asked why he fought without armor, he shrugged. Armor breaks, he said. You have to trust what is under it. Months later, the arena invited him back. Not to fight, to teach. Warriors from other worlds stood in a wide circle as he spoke. Valith was among them. Her arm had healed. A thin line of scar crossed her knee. He showed them how to move close instead of away, how to watch the hips instead of the hands, how to strike at joints, how to breathe through pain instead of resisting it. They listened, because they had seen. At the end of the session, Veleth approached him once more. You changed the calculus of this arena, she said. He smiled. Faintly. No, he replied. I just proved we belong in it. She extended one clawed hand. He took it. Around them, the vast chamber stood quiet. Not with doubt now. Not with mockery. With understanding. Some species conquered with size. Some with numbers. Some with weapons that burned worlds from orbit. Humans conquered something. Smaller and harder. The space between fear and action. In that space, they stepped forward. And sometimes that was enough. Asterisk.